I'm Jaclyn Johnson.
And I'm Marina Middleton.
And this is Work Party, a podcast that's part work and part party. Work Party celebrates a new generation of women who are redefining the meaning of work on their own terms and having fun while doing it.
In this podcast, we are diving into all the areas of being a working woman: mind, body, and business. No topic is off limit.
Real talk and hot takes. Think of us as your internet work wives. This is Work Party,
the podcast.
Wait, where's the champagne?
Welcome back to Work Party. Today's guest took a blog, a late night Instagram conversation, and a vision that the beauty industry was getting it wrong and turned it into over $100 million business in just 5 years. Laney Crowell is the founder and CEO of Saie, a clean beauty brand that grew over 50% in 2025, launched across 40 Sephora doors in the Middle East, and had a product sell, wait for it, 534 units per minute. And did that all at the time with a team of just 33 people and zero compromise on sustainability. She just made Time 100 next, and we're just so excited to sit with her today and talk all things Saie. Laney, welcome to Work Party.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here.
We're going to have so much fun. And the girlies that listen to our podcast are obsessed with a good founder story.
Okay.
And yours is one of our favorites.
Aw.
So take us back. We're going to talk through all things Estee Lauder, sustainability, but I just want to hear from you. If someone's listening that does not know who you are or what your brand is, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Laney. I'm the founder and CEO of Saie. We make clean, high-performance makeup that is good for people and the planet. My goal with all of our products is that they are easy and effortless. I'm not a makeup artist. I'm just your everyday girl who loves makeup, likes to get ready in 5 minutes, and wants products that make my skin even better.
Yeah, and people are obsessed with the products.
We put a lot of effort into it, and I think that's why.
Yeah, and we'll talk about this. But before Saie, you were at Estee Lauder, and you were their first executive director of online global communications. And then one night on Instagram with your blog community, which I would love to dive into, the idea hit. Take us back to that moment. And what was the idea that made you launch Saie?
Okay, so I didn't have my blog till after I left Estee Lauder.
Okay.
I had been in editorial. I came to Estee Lauder, yes, to start their digital footprint, but honestly, I was just so excited to be in beauty. I'd been in fashion before, and I had been obsessed with beauty since I was way too young. I remember getting in trouble for buying Allure when I was in elementary school. My dad, Amber Valletta, was on the cover, and my dad was like, I don't know if this is appropriate for like a 9-year-old to be reading. It was just like a love affair for me. And so when I got the opportunity to work in-house, I was like a sponge. I was just so excited to learn every single thing, every aspect, from creative to product development to marketing. And I was so fortunate to have a very lucky position there where no one had had the position before. So I got to almost be an entrepreneur inside a corporation of building something that had never been done before. And I definitely thrive as an entrepreneur and building. I would say those are like the two moments where I'm the happiest, when I'm building and creating. And I was there for 5 years. I say it was like getting my MBA. I learned from the best of the best. I don't think I wasted any moment there. I was just always pushing and creating. When I left with this very amorphous idea around beauty being better. And it wasn't even in reaction to where I was. It was just more of like a concept that was like a little seed inside of me. People think I left Estee Lauder to start Saie. I did not. I honestly didn't think that I was qualified to be a founder. I don't even know if I had that language in my mind when I look back on it. I would say that Emily Weiss at Glossier was an expander for me in that sense, because she launched Glossier while I was at Estee Lauder. And I had known her before that as a content creator and a storyteller. And so when I saw that, I think that was, again, like a little seed. So when I left, I was consulting for brands, and I started consulting. I liked it. I wouldn't say I loved it. I thought it was really interesting. I got to work for a lot of startups. So again, like a little moment in the trajectory when I look back, I'm like, oh, it all added up. I got to see these startups, meet these founders. I then started the blog just as a way to get back to my storytelling roots. And and I've always loved content creation. And through the blog, from the day I launched it, brands started sending me product to review. And the blog was about this idea of beauty being better. And I ended up with so many products. I had so many packages arriving all the time that I had to create a beauty closet in my apartment. And the aha moment was when I was going out to dinner one night. And I was like, oh, you know what? Let me grab some makeup out of the beauty closet. And I opened the doors to it, and every single bin was overflowing. Skin had 2 bins, overflowing, body, bath, ingestibles. And then the makeup bin was almost empty, like almost dusty, actually. And I was like, oh, why is there no makeup? And that was the conversation I started having that night on Instagram with our community. And again, super niche. I want to say at the time we maybe had like 15,000 followers. Like this was a very niche conversation at the time. And I think also because the community was so small, they were very active.
Totally.
I mean, I was up to like 2 o'clock in the morning talking to everybody on Instagram of like, well, what would you create if you could create something? What's missing? Why doesn't it work? What do you buy? What's your favorite product? I mean, we were just like chat. And that's where the name of the brand comes from, was from that conversation and just everything that they were saying.
I'm curious, you say make beauty better, or the beauty industry. What did you feel strongly about that needed to improve?
Well, I would say like the one kind of pivotal moment for me was when I realized that my makeup was making me break out. I have really sensitive skin. I have really acne prone skin. I had bought this foundation stick, and it was a big investment for me. You know, I want to say it was like $58, $60. And my skin started getting these really bad breakouts, and I just kept using it more, not putting 2 and 2 together to cover my breakouts. And the more I covered my breakouts, the worse my skin got. Even to the point where my friend said something to me of like, what's going on with your skin? And I was like, oh, wait, I wonder if it's that product. I stopped using it. My skin got better. And I was like, oh, okay. So this product that I just spent all this money on was like seriously damaging my skin.
Yeah. I love that. We know that the best entrepreneurs come from solving a problem. So I love that you found that problem, and it was a personal one. And I still I think it's important to call out that 15,000, like, you had a small community. It wasn't this like massive millions of people that, you were ready to monetize. You launched Saie in 2019, right as the global pandemic was shutting everything down. What did the first year actually look like?
Yeah.
Obviously different than traditional years.
Yeah.
And how did that shape the brand? Crazy.
Yes. So I started working on the brand maybe 2 years to a year and a half before we launched. Raised money, developed the products, did the branding, created the website, started having conversations with retailers. And we launched November 7th, 2019. And obviously I had no idea that within 3 months, the entire world was going to shut down. And gosh, I can remember it so clearly, because I think in a lot of ways for all of us that the pandemic was a moment of trauma. And I just had no idea. I think there was a big part of me that just assumed the business would go under, because I had no idea why people would be buying makeup during a pandemic when you weren't leaving your house. Turns out, I think there was, if I have to look at the silver lining, I think that one, it showed me how resilient I am, and that my motto has always been like, just keep going. And that was what I did. I just pivoted. We started really thinking about ourselves as like a media company, how we're here for our community. We created a whole series online on just feeling good. We started doing like streaming flower making workshops and meditations and yoga classes and stuff for our community to come together during the pandemic. I think the other thing that happened was that people really started educating themselves about ingredients, and people became really aware of their health. And those are 2 things that are pillars of Saie, and something that we're really known for is the ingredients in our formulas and how focused we are on not only your skin health, but health in totality. And then I think the third thing that happened during COVID was that I got to really focus. So I had a baby, my second girl, Rosie, July 2020. And I didn't get on a plane for 2 years. I barely even left Sag Harbor. I don't even think I did. I just worked. So I think I basically did like 5 years of work in 2 years. I just grinded all day, every day. And I do think that was a big part of what led to our exponential growth.
I love that you talk about that because I think sometimes in this like anti-girl boss era, the concept of like grinding and working is something that we try to rebel against, or maybe we do it and just like not share it. So I love that you highlighted that. I do think obviously COVID was so pivotal. I went out on my own before obviously Create and Cultivate. I was at Yahoo News, and then I went out on my own December 2019, and I was like, this is the perfect time to be an entrepreneur, not knowing that the whole world was going to shift and end, or like the normalcy of how we showed up and in person and all of that stuff. So it is amazing that you've leaned into the community. I'd say Saie is definitely one of the top brands that really does stand by what you say when it comes to sustainability, when it comes to emphasizing and keeping the products clean. But obviously that does come with a lot of work. And a lot of intentionality. So what does staying clean actually cost on the margin side for brands, and how have you made that math work as you've scaled? Because I was like listening to a podcast on the way here, and a lot of brands will do it until they're like, oh, I can make better margins if I like cut this corner or cut that corner. So let's talk about how you guys are showing up in that space.
Totally. I think first, I didn't know that we were in anti-girl boss era. I just learned that. I feel like
I think we're coming back. Like I think
we're coming back.
We're coming back.
I don't know if you've been following Emma Greed's book launch,
of course,
but like
yes,
she's just crushing it. And I think I love the conversation around how you have to work hard.
You have to work hard, and like
if you want an exceptional career, you have to work exceptionally hard.
Yeah,
the two go hand in hand, and let's just be really honest about it.
I love that. And ambition is like a real thing, and women can be ambitious and have kids and do all of the things, you know, and we can do a whole podcast episode about it.
We definitely could.
But I love that. But yeah, so talk me through that side.
Okay, I think that one thing that I learned that was a mistake that I didn't focus on early on with Saie was operations. That's not my background. I really knew nothing about it. If I could do it all over again, I would have hired an operations supply chain expert much earlier on. And the reason why is because if you have excellent operations, it unlocks so much. If you have better margins, then you have more money for marketing. You have more money for headcount. You're then it becomes a flywheel in which you're able to then scale faster. So yeah, I think that it's if not the most important part, is a big part you need to be thinking about.
I love that. Do you think that the industry is actually serious about seeing change when it comes to sustainability and making good products? Or do you feel like sustainability is still mostly a marketing story for some brands?
Well, it's been a part of our DNA from day one because it's just part of my values, and I didn't feel like I'd be able to sleep at night if I was creating something that wasn't aligned with my values. And I've been taught since a really early age that our job is to leave the planet better than we found it. It actually stemmed from, I was born in Colorado and we hiked a lot. My parents were very active outdoors people. And they even like extreme sports, kayaking, rock climbing. I grew up hiking in the mountains, and the line was like, we leave the trail better than we found it. And so we were given little bags every single time we went for a hike to like pick up anything we saw.
That's amazing.
And like, I think
I love that.
Exactly the same way I see Saie. Like it's our job to leave the planet better than we found it.
Do you have an entrepreneurial family?
No,
No,
I don't.
You don't? Okay.
I don't. I mean, I think my dad was a lawyer. My mom was in the Foreign Service. I do think, though, that they were both athletes. And I do think athletes tend to have very similar qualities to entrepreneurs. There's a lot of parallels.
Yeah, like the dedication and this like athletic mindset. And the discipline, I think all of
Yes.
it. Yeah, I love that. I know I'm always so curious for entrepreneurs, like, do they come from this background of entrepreneurship? And also, like, when you were going out on your own, was your family like, what the hell are you doing? Or were they just like, okay, you go, girl?
I think they knew me. And I remember being in middle school and getting books on how to design clothes. And I was like, I'm going to be a clothing designer. Like I was always creating. And I think that's what entrepreneurs do. I think they create something out of nothing. And with Saie, I don't know. What did my parents think? I actually don't know. I've never asked them. I'll ask them that.
You got to ask them. You got to record it, and then we'll stitch it. And I'm curious. So you have Rosie, who at the time was 2, right? Or
Isabella was around 2.5, and then Rosie was born July 2020. So they're 8 and 5.
8 and 5. Okay, so I have a 10-year-old, and Matt, my husband, and I are both entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And Sebastian will come home from school, and he's like, I started a business today. And I'm like, iconic. What is it?
Wait,
and I was
that.
like, oh, that like your margins suck there. Like you got to work on it. So like, do you feel like that seeps into your day to day and like your kids and energy, or like not really?
Well, my husband's also a CEO and an entrepreneur, but I think they more just think it's normal. Like I think they think hard work is really normal. I think I do hear my daughter Isabella will say, well, when I have my company, or I think there's also just a very ingrained, like I can do anything.
Love that. I love the normalcy of just like building and seeing both parents build and travel and do all of these things. Like that is their new norm, which I think is like such a privilege. Okay, love, we went on a tyrant, but okay. Sephora relationship.
Yes.
Really excited to talk about that. So Sephora's shelf decisions can obviously make or break a brand. Okay. I don't think most people talk about this, like getting in stores. Went from launch to top 10 makeup brand there in 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. What does it actually take to earn and protect that? Do you was it more of the relationship you had with Sephora? Was it driving your community there? Like, let's talk through that.
Okay, cool. I mean, I think that we could do a whole podcast on this. I, from day one, was just very respectful of my relationship with Sephora. It was always my goal to be there. When I started Saie, there had really been a tide shift away from direct to consumer. I knew that I needed a key retailer, and I knew that I wanted that key retailer to be Sephora. I also got some really good advice when I was in that process of like, this is a relationship thing. People want to work with people that they want to spend time with. And so from day one, I really approached this as like a friendship first. Of course, this is business, but we're making makeup. Let's have a good time.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud that I consider so many of the team at Sephora my dear friends. We see each other on vacations, and I'm texting them all the time, like funny stuff. We have so much fun. Sydney at Sephora is actually on the board of the Saie Climate Initiative.
Amazing.
So I do think that relationship has been one that the relationship is what I started with. And then from there, we've really invested. So different from a lot of brands, we started on one shelf on the clean end cap, and Sephora funds that. So I didn't have to pay for any fixtures. I've raised very little money in the course of Saie. And so I didn't have any sort of budget to launch with a one bay, nor was I ready to.
Yeah.
And I think that was such a key to our success I always say the slower you go, the faster you get there. And we started with one shelf, then we graduated to 2, then our shelves moved up to the top shelf within the clean end cap. Then we got a one bay. Then we got a 2 bay. And, I have colleagues and friends who launched with 2 bays. So this is, it's been a long, slow, but methodical journey.
I love that you highlight the actual relationship that you've had with the people there, because I think that's really important. And we're going to talk about fundraising and being VC backed and all of the things. But I think sometimes we forget the importance of actually building the relationship versus everything is like feels so transactional sometimes. So I love that you called that out. You launched Sephora Middle East in October 2024 across 40 doors in 6 countries and were the #1 brand at Sephora AE at launch. So you chose the Middle East over Europe as your first international move. What was the thinking behind it?
The demand. I mean, it always goes back to our community.
Yeah.
It had gotten to the point where if I did an Instagram live to talk about a new launch and I'd be like, guys, put your questions in the comments. And it would just be come to Dubai, come to the UAE, come to Saudi Arabia. We needed to meet the consumer where they wanted us to be. It was amazing launching there. It felt like time travel because I'd never been there. And I got there, the brand had never been there. And everybody knew us. Everyone knew our products. Everyone knew me. Everybody knew so much. And I was like, wow, this is the power of social media. It is so profound. The way that it just really like transcends borders.
I think you can just reach so many people through social, and I love that you saw that impact in real life. So let's shift to fundraising and capital. Only 2% of VC funding goes to female founders. We talk about this all the time, and you had to fight for every dollar raising for Saie. Now you're profitable and doing $100 million in revenue. Looking back, what were investors wrong about, and what do the numbers say to them now?
Well, that, first of all, we're doing well over 100. That was a number from like 2 years ago.
Amazing.
But I had a really hard time fundraising. And I talk about this a lot because I think that fundraising can come really easy to some people. I wouldn't even say I was bad at fundraising. It just was, I was a first-time founder. I was trying to raise for a makeup brand. You know, the majority of investors are men. It's understandably hard to get them excited about clean makeup. I met with so many people and I just had that same mentality of like, I'm just going to keep going. And every single time I'd meet with someone, I'd get their feedback. I would incorporate it into my pitch deck. And I don't know, I met with like over hundreds of people.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it was like, I'll see people now and they're like, yeah, remember when you met me at that coffee shop and wanted me to invest in Saie? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure I did that.
Yeah.
That sounds like me. Yeah.
Yeah. Raising is, I don't want to say it sucks, but it is really hard. And I don't think like raising money from different, like having to repeat your story and your purpose and all of that stuff to people that don't get it is really, really difficult. For someone that is starting a makeup brand, would you recommend someone to raise money or like, what are your thoughts when it comes to other beauty founders?
Yeah. Someone once said to me, if you like fundraising, something's wrong with you. And I was like, yeah, that tracks. Like, it might be a little sociopathy if you like it.
Yeah, it's so funny.
You know, there was a big unlock for me when I realized that fundraising is a game.
Totally.
It's not personal.
Yep.
It's not personal about you. It's not personal about your idea. It's just a game. Investors are very formulaic. They also have a very lemming-like quality to them. So if everyone's doing it, then they're going to do it, whether or not it's a good investment. So it's not personal.
Yeah.
That was definitely unlocked for me. I think the fundraising landscape has changed dramatically. There's a lot less money out there right now, unless you're doing something in AI. And everything's a phase that I'm sure will change at some point. But if you cannot fundraise, that's amazing for many reasons. I think one, it makes you scrappier. I think you have to make very different decisions when you have less money and you have to think more creatively and you waste less money and you get to profitability faster and all of these things that make your business much more sound. And at the same time, you're not making someone else rich. You're not giving away your equity and then working hard for somebody else.
Yeah. Create Cultivate has always been bootstrapped. And then once we bought it back from private equity, we decided that we were going to raise VC. And I would say like, it's not that I had fun doing it, but I love negotiating. Yeah. Like I love being able to like sit in a room and understand, okay, like what are you trying to get out of it? And what am I trying to get out of it and understand that? it's funny doing it for a legacy brand because it has existed before and now, so we kind of operate as this like bootstrapped, but we're VC backed. So it's like, it is a fun little like scrappiness, but I agree. I think like being able to have that like creative sense and like scrappiness because you're like, oh, I'm a bootstrapped founder does change the game for you and kind of like how you show up. Yeah, I love that. Let's talk a little bit about the formulation that goes into all of your Saie products.
Yes. So I think, as you said earlier, like formulation is everything. Like you have to have an incredible product. And that's been something that is just been kind of my North Star. The first hire I made was a product developer because you can work with product developers at your contract manufacturers. I knew that that was not our path because I wanted all of our formulas to be at the level, if not better than anything else on the market, even with all of the ingredients that we don't use. And so the way that we formulate is really with like a skincare base. So when you read our ingredient list, they read like skincare, and then we add a little bit of pigment at the end. And all of that skincare is designed to deeply hydrate, so penetrate your skin barrier, deeply hydrate, and then we stack on other ingredients depending on the formula that brighten, nourish, repair. You know, it's why when you put on our formulas, they feel like they're melting into your skin. There's that addictive quality to it. That's because we're able to really penetrate the skin barrier, deeply hydrate. I think that's why there's almost this like je ne sais quoi quality about Saie products, because it's a completely different way of formulating than how makeup has ever been formulated before. And that's because what we're trying to achieve is that you're getting the look and feel that you want while actually improving your skin. And that's something that has always been two separate things. You either have skincare, you have makeup, and we're really bringing those two together.
I love that. I mean, I feel like sometimes you put makeup on and you feel like your skin just like can't breathe.
And you feel it sitting on your skin.
Yes. And you literally like see this like thickness where I feel like even for like the Saie little like dewy blush, it's so light and airy. I love that. So what
tried
products?
City Set?
No.
City Set is our setting spray. It launched in December. I hope we have some for you here. If not, I'll send it over immediately because that's an example where it took us 5 years to formulate. A lot of our products take a very long time because we are trying to achieve something that's never been achieved before. And our community was like, we need a setting spray. And I was like, fair. Our formulas are so hydrating. Of course you need a setting spray. It has to have the same hold as a Charlotte Tilbury, as anything else. But we don't use any synthetic polymers. So the way setting spray developed was that people were putting hairspray on their faces to set their makeup.
Stop.
Yeah, that's what setting spray is. So genius makeup, the makeup community was like, let's just put hairspray in a different container. It's why you get that stickiness. It's why you feel like your skin can't breathe. It took us 5 years to create a 16-hour hold without any synthetic polymers. We use a hydrolyzed cornstarch. Your skin feels like it can breathe. You get a radiance, but we still have that 16-hour hold. Like that might be the product I'm the most proud of because it was really, I mean, we had to wait for raw ingredient suppliers to catch up with what we wanted to create.
5 years to create a product. Like you must be the most patient person.
Yes. I mean, I think there was a period in between where I gave up, but yes.
That's amazing. I love that. Okay, what other products is coming out? What are you excited about?
Oh my God, so much. Well, you have to try our baked formulas. So we're known for our creams, our Dew Blush, obviously, our Slip Tint, Glowy Super Gel. But we started launching our baked formulas about a year ago, and they are so stunning. The vision was powder for people who don't like powder. So it's the lightest powder you've ever tried. It doesn't settle into any fine lines. It doesn't look like powder. It doesn't feel like powder. We have a bronzer that just launched. And we have a beautiful, beautiful radiant blush. And then we have our setting powder. And those are so beautiful with brushes to go with them as well.
Love. Okay, I'm going to buy all of them. I'm like a big powder.
I'm going to send them to you.
I'm like glowy, like all the things. I love like my self-care in the morning. My husband and my son know this. It's my time.
Yeah.
I like to do my skincare. I like to sit there and do my makeup. Yeah. Like, I don't care how long it takes me. I just like, it's just like my me time. And I'm really
meditative.
Excited. No, it really is. So I'm so excited. Well,
yeah, I'll have all those.
You're the best. Yeah. So let's talk about how you've grown your partnership with Sephora. You've obviously taken it in so many different directions. Tell
One thing I'm really proud of was the campaign we just did, Planet Beautiful. We launched it last year with 5 brands. It's an extension of the Saie Climate Initiative, where our goal is to recover plastic waste with the partner Repurpose. They're amazing. And so in just a couple months ago in April, we had 12 brands be part of it. And we're collecting over 1 million pounds of plastic. Wow. We have our own dedicated project, Planet Beautiful in Kenya. And I just feel like we're just getting started. And Sephora has been so supportive and passionate. And we even have like a space in store now for Planet Beautiful to shop the brands. Sephora matched $1 for every unit sold from those brands. This year we had 12 brands, and next year, let's see what happens.
Oh my God, congratulations. Also, shout out to Sephora for this is amazing.
Yeah, they really came to the table, putting their money where their mouth is. They're the dream.
I love it. Well, let's talk about scaling and operating. You scaled to well over $100 million with roughly 33 people.
Well, now we're probably closer to 70 people.
Wow. I mean, okay, most companies that size have 10 times the headcount. So it's interesting just seeing how small your team was originally when you were scaling. What did you choose not to hire for that was the right call? And where did you understaff that almost broke things?
Okay, well, I understaffed in operations. We know that. We talked about that already. We now have an incredibly strong operations team. Where did I overhire? Well, I really didn't overhire much because we were always so lean. And I love being lean. I love being nimble. I love being really close to everybody on the team. And I'm texting all day long with everybody.
Yeah.
And I like having that relationship and that touch point. I would say we are always very slow to hire. One thing I invested in was a field team.
Okay.
So we had a full-time field team from the beginning. And that was something that was actually a big differentiator for us. There's a bunch of companies out there that do freelance. And so that one person will be working for 4 different brands in store. And to me, that never made sense. I was like, I think because of my background at Estee Lauder that values beauty advisors so highly. And you think about it, it's like they're the face of the brand to many people because, retail is back and people are shopping in stores, and having our own dedicated field team was something that I invested in really quickly. And I think it was one of the best decisions I made.
If someone doesn't know what a field team is, what's a field team?
So those are the people that are in store selling your product. So you might think that when you go to Sephora, everybody works at Sephora. A lot of the people in Sephora are working for a brand. And they will help you with anything, but they are actually there to help you with Saie. And they're standing near the Saie space and are there to answer any questions, are there to do a service on you, are there to help you shade match. And I think it was game changing for us.
That's awesome. Did you feel like during your launch, you needed to do something differently in marketing that you wouldn't think that you were doing? Did you lean into content creators? Did influencer marketing? Did you?
Yes.
You did. Both
influencer marketing is a big part of my social media, and influencer is what I was doing really early. And so that's something that has become second nature to me. So that was really our tactic from day one, was how do we get the product into people's hands who can talk about it for us?
Yeah, because I feel like especially that works if you have a really good product. Right? If you have a good product, you just need it in the right people's hands so they could see how good it is and talk about it, which I love. And I think that now influencer marketing and creators are at the core of everything and every product. So I love that you were doing it early on as well, maybe before it even blew up into what it is
Probably,
today.
honestly, when I look back. So funny enough, I was at a dinner and I was seated next to someone and he's like, we have a mutual friend in common. I think he works at Kiehl's and he's like, I was in LA when she received your first mailer. And I was like, oh my God, okay, that was a long time ago. He pulls up the picture You could not send this box out today. It was just a cardboard box with some products in it and like a little note. And like there was no design. Like it was so simple. And I was like, that was my launch mailer. Like, okay, like that, you couldn't do that today.
I mean, amazing though that you did it and didn't feel like you had to wait. I was saying to the girl, your team, before we walked in, I had an intern 6 years ago that like worked for me, and she was like talking through her school project, and I'm like, oh, what is your school project on? And it was all about you.
No.
And launching the product and how you used your community for it. So I think it's like 6 years ago. Right? It's just so amazing.
So
I
sweet.
know. It's so amazing to just see like full circle how big the brand got. So, all right, let's go into rapid fire question.
Okay,
You ready?
let's do it.
One dirty beauty product you will never give up.
Queen for a Day texture hairspray.
Love. Best thing you ever bought with Saie money.
My watch.
Like your Birkin.
My watch, my bags.
Yeah,
I love shopping. We all know that.
Love this. Glowy Super Gel or Dew Blush if you only had to keep one.
Glowy Super Gel.
Okay. A beauty brand you genuinely respect that is not Saie.
Oh my gosh, so many. That is a really tough one. I could name 20, but I'm going to say Makeup by Mario.
Love. The word clean. Fix it, ditch it, or keep it.
Keep it.
Love. Laney, we could talk for hours. I feel like
I know. What's happening? This is over?
We literally
just
could talk for hours. Your story's amazing. And you're just so like open and authentic about everything. So I love that. And we really, really genuinely love that you have stood by your values, stood by exactly what you say is, and kept your community at heart. So thank you for coming to Work Party.
Oh my God. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Work Party. If you like what you heard, follow, leave a review, rate the pod, or slide into our DMs.
Check out the different ways you can create and cultivate on our website, createcultivate.com. From retreats and masterminds to our summits and festival.
We have different experiences to support you through your entrepreneurial journey from launch
To legacy.
Follow us at Create Cultivate on all platforms, and don't forget, work hard.
Party on.
Please note that this episode may contain paid endorsements and advertisements for products and services. Individuals on the show may have a direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to in this episode.